Hello. Today we're going to be doing the last video discussion. To start, culture wars were a large part of the late 20th century. Cultural wars that were condensed with who has the power, who has rights, and who has American values. Many people still considered America to be the same as it always was. Some people didn't want these people groups coming out to gain equal rights. Pat Buchanan on the culture war, I'm sorry if I mispronounced that, in 1992. Quote, "Friends, this election is about more than who gets what. It is about who we are. It is about what we believe and what we stand for as Americans. There is a religious war going on in this country. It is a cultural war, as critical to the kind of nation we shall be as the Cold War itself. For this war is for the soul of America." End quote. The feminists were giving examples throughout their speeches, protests, and writings. I think that it is such an important part of it all since it provides credibility. They weren't just making up a whole bunch of stuff, they had facts. In 1966, the National Organization for Women's Statement of Purpose came out and punctured the world with statistics as to why there needs to be a change, and it showed the group's purpose for change. National Organization for Women's Statement of Purpose, quote, "We believe that women will do most to create a new image of women by acting now, and by speaking out in belief of their own equality, freedom, and human dignity, not in pleas for special privilege, nor enmity towards men who are also victims of the current half-equality between the sexes, but in an active, self-respecting partnership with men. By doing so, women will develop confidence in their own ability to determine actively in partnership with men the conditions of their life, their choices, their future, and their society." End quote. This is so powerful because it's not like they wanted to do the same thing that men did to them. They simply wanted to be equal. Gloria Steinem on Equal Rights for Women, 1970, quote, "However, I don't want to prove the superiority of one sex to another. That would only be reporting a male mistake." End quote. It takes a lot to say something like that after years of hurt from men. I don't think every woman agrees with this argument, and maybe they shouldn't. Some hurt runs too deep. Fannie Lou Hamer had a huge case as to how horrific men could be. Fannie Lou Hamer, testimony at the Democratic National Convention in 1964, quote, "The first Negro began to beat, and I was beat by the first Negro until he was exhausted, and I was holding my hands behind me at the time on my left side because I suffered from polio when I was 6 years old." End quote. Women were getting hurt immensely, specifically black women, not only physically but mentally. It must have been so mentally draining to constantly fight for something America claimed to have, equality. Another big concept that the feminists were preaching is that America wasn't living up to its values. Fannie Lou Hamer, quote, "I question America. Is this America, the land of the free and the home of the brave, where we have to sleep with our telephones off of the hooks because our lives are threatened daily because we want to live as decent human beings in America?" End quote. America wasn't safe for women. It wasn't safe for gays or lesbians or either. A human should have the right to be treated equally. A person was not allowed to think, believe, or be something different. The difference was political, and differences were not excluded to male and female. There were differences between females and females and males, a gay man versus a straight man, a black woman versus a white woman. You get the idea. The other side of this argument is the people against feminism, mostly religious or wanting to keep traditional gender roles. Surprisingly, there weren't only men on this side. Phyllis Schlafly was a woman who opposed women's rights. It was honestly a little astonishing to me to hear a woman talking so decisively about her own rights. In 1981, she spoke of women's responsibility for sexual harassment and basically said it was ladies' own fault for sexual harassment. If only she dressed more modest or she wasn't as flirtatious. Again, I say, quite appalling, but nevertheless. I think sometimes if a woman really loves what she does, like being a housewife, they want to apply that love to the majority. This is just not the case. Not all women want to be a housewife, but to connect that to today's time, some women do just want to be a housewife. And they get slammed for that. They say that it's not feminist, that they are going back in time, but it doesn't mean that. It just means that that's what they love to do, and that's okay. The end of the story should be that personal is not political most of the time.